Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, live from Los Angeles County State Prison. May I ask, who do we have on the line?
Thomas?
Thomas, what did they call you? Do you have an alias, a moniker by chance?
Psycho. Psycho from Playboys.
Where are you incarcerated for and how long is your sentence?
I have a 28 to life sentence for gang-related murder that occurred in 1994, and I've been down since.
Where are you from out here on the streets?
I'm from the West LA area. It's called the Miracle Mile. I was born and raised on the West LA side of town.
You know, first and foremost, before anything, Thomas, I'd like to express my gratitude towards you. I just want to go ahead and say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be able to share your story. Just know that this is an open platform. However, this is your story. You know, feel comfortable to be able to say whatever you like, whatever you want. You know, it's not going to be edited out. This is your space, so just know that feel free to be able to say whatever you want, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to first say that thank you for giving me the chance to let kids know that this is not the way to live. Despite what they might see on TV or hear in music, this is not the way. There's nothing like being stuck in here in a cell with a bathroom 24 hours a day when everyone else is out there living the life the way that they should because I chose to make bad decisions.
100%, sir. So, Thomas, man, tell me, man, what landed you in the Los Angeles area? Did you grow up there? Did you move there? And what was your upbringing like, man? Did you go through any traumatic experiences as a child?
Well, I'm born in L.A., Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Been in the same house, same everything throughout time. I raised in a nuclear home, but my dad is old-fashioned, my mom's old-fashioned, so violence was kind of like regular to me. So growing up in school, I started hanging around certain kids. So when I knew that I could be violent and get girls, get respect, and get this, I got the name being called Psycho after the movie. So I was easy for me to do certain stuff because my dad always hit us. Him and my mom always got into it. So certain things I was used to that most kids weren't used to doing.
Isn't the year the year that you caught your case? Isn't that the year that the movie American Me came out?
I think American Me came out before that. In '94, there was a lot that happened. OJ, I was in the county jail with OJ. What else happened? There's a few things that happened in '94. In '93, I think that's when American Me came out.
Do you remember how these types of movies impacted the streets? And did they impact the streets in any type of way?
Of course they did, because when I came to prison and when I caught a shoe, a security housing unit, that's when you like stab somebody or do anything. I was actually in the block with Joe Morgan, who was actually the one who was pushing the Mexican mafia then. And then you looked at it as a badge of honor. You know, you go and you put someone down and you go to jail and you rep the hood. And that was like, okay, I'm here for doing this. I killed this fool. I did this. I did that. So when I first came to jail, it was like, yeah, I did it. So, and because that was pride. You know, that's like I bagged somebody. I killed somebody for the hood.
Would you be able to tell me, you know, what planted this seed inside your mind into becoming a gamer? Was it someone that you met? Was it just growing up in that neighborhood? And when did things start to get serious for you? When did you notice that things were no joke?
It was when I got jumped. I got jumped at school one day. I thought it was all just laughs and jokes. I went to a school called Paul Revere, and that we used to go to a school across the street from my house called Louis Pasteur, but they got closed down. So we started going to getting bused to a school called Paul Revere, which is all white kids. So they had kids coming from all sides of town. So one day, I was late catching the bus, and I had to catch the RTD. And some kids like, "Aren't you from here?" I'm like, "Yes." And then they jumped me. And I was like, "What the?" So then I came back to school. I told the homies, "Hey, man, these fools just jumped me." So then we found them, and then we jumped them. And then it went from there to when I couldn't even go back to school anymore. I bounced from school to school to school, and then the name traveled. And then it became a part to where I got...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I got tired of fighting. I got tired of doing that. I wanted to just knock one of these fools down and let them know.
You know, obviously you caught your homicide charge. In the months leading up to this unfortunate event, you know, what was going on in your life? And was there a set of events that triggered this act?
It was in the months leading. It went by so fast. But it was like people are dying. I'd say from 91 till I came to jail, I must have lost about 8 friends who got killed by gang-related violence. And it became, it's not just about the gangs anymore. We're shooting it out with the cops now, because the cops were pulling up in Crown Victorias and Novas and shooting at us. They weren't in full-fledged cop uniforms having shootouts with us just because we're from this gang and they're cops. So it was like, man, if I don't kill somebody, I'm gonna wind up dead. So there's an old saying: I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So I was like, I might as well just kill somebody and just get that rep and just knock down whoever comes in my way, because I don't want to die.
You said that you had lost eight of your friends.
Yeah.
Why? How?
Murdered, killed, gang violence.
You said you were right there in that Playboy. You say you're from the Playboys, right? Would you be able to paint the demographics right there in that area? Would you be able to let people know just how many different gangs they are, and how close they are in proximity?
Oh, wow. You see there, okay, now there's another thing that gets involved in this. In the 80s, you had just gangs, regular gangs. And then you had party crews, people who come together to go to parties. In the 90s, late 80s, they started having taggers, right? And the taggers started getting bullied by gang members, so they turned into gangs too. So you had gang members, and you had tag bangers, dudes who used to run on walls who would start carrying guns and actually had more access at guns than actual gang members did. So it went from just us against them to us against these taggers too. So right there where I'm at, you have some of the biggest gangs in LA. You got 18th Street right there. You got Easy Riders. You got Crazy Riders. You got Drifters. You got MS. MS started literally across the street from us. You have the Bloods, the NHB Bloods. You have the Black P Stones. You have the Mid-City Stoners. You have, Jesus, gangs upon gangs upon gangs upon gangs upon gangs. And you literally cannot go 2 blocks over without touching another gang member. So if I go across Pico, it's MS. If I go back across Venice, it's Easy Riders. And then the thing is, you might get shot by anybody just at the wrong place and the wrong time. And then you had these tag bangers who would just shoot you just to try to get their little crew out there. I got friends who died who we still don't know who killed them, but we think it's these dudes, but it could have been these dudes. And you never know what's going on. You can only assume unless you're actually there. So as far as gangs-wise, it's like, what do you do? People weren't fighting then. It's either you kill or you be killed or you leave town. And then the bad thing is that if you leave the hood too long, the homie's going to be like, hey, fool, where have you been at? Why ain't you been here? What's going on? So now you're not only beefing with these gangs, now you got your own homies like, fool, where you been at?
Which was the first tagging crew, from your acknowledgement, that really started to make themselves a presence right there in that heavy, heavy gang infested LA area?
As far as, okay, as far as black gangs, the first gang that really, like, pushed it out there was a gang called NBT, Nothing But Trouble. I knew a few of those dudes because I went to school with a couple of them, and they started out in the middle 80s as a tagger crew, but they ended up turning into a gang, and they're still a prominent gang right now. But in that area right there, they had like crews, just regular tagger crews. Like they had one called AOB, and you had one called BSA. They went from Backstreet Artists to Barrio St. Andrews, and you had ATC, which was Addicted to Crime, to now they're called Alley Tiny Criminals. And those were some of the main ones where I'm at. But overall, one of the top ones that actually went from being a tagging crew into a gang was NBT. And they're a big gang to this day.
What do they stand for?
Nothing But Trouble, but they don't say that. They just say Trouble Gang. And they're real tight with the Hoovers.
When was the first one? Which one was the first one of your homeboys who lost his life due to this gang violence? And do you remember how it affected you? Did it scare you?
It was confusing. It was Scrappy. He got killed because he moved out to the valley and he got killed by these dudes called Violent Boys. And I was confused. I went to school with him. I kicked it with him. He just moved out because his mom thought she was moving to a better side of town, you know? And when we heard he got killed, it was like, oh, damn, is he really dead? You know? And it's like, go find these fools. And then we're trying to look for a gang that we don't know anything about. So we're out there with guns trying to hunt these, and I can't even say guns. It was, I think we either had a 28, a 22, or a 38. And we're looking for them. We're kids. I'm like 13, 14. And he got killed by these dudes, and we're trying to find out who it is, and we don't even know who in the hell it is. But we had his funeral, and it was like depressing and sad, but it all happened, you know?
What was the talk amongst
Hello?
the neighborhood? And do you remember how it impacted their family?
The mom already moved because the hood was already on fire, you know? And this is like before stuff really jumped. Because like this is like, damn, I want to say 89, maybe 90 when he got killed. And it wasn't like the 90s. I swear, man, between 91 and 93, life was just not life anymore. It was like you were dumb. You were dumb. And I stayed high, stayed with the gun, and the people who were my friends, I stayed with them. Even though it's a bigger gang, you still don't trust other folks out the gang because you don't know what they might do. You know, you want to be around people to where you're safe around, you know. And then you got to go to the hood and post up in the hood, and you got these dudes coming by shooting at you, and you want to make sure that you're around the right folks. But whenever a homie dies, it's like, oh. And then we started having a rule, man. If you ain't gonna go put in work, don't go to the funeral. Whoever goes to the funeral better go put in work. But then after a while, it's like, damn, this homie's gone. This homie's gone. This homie's gone. He's in jail. He's in jail. And it's just like you feel like you're 50 and you're only 15. You know?
Which one do you think impacted you significantly? Which one impacted you the most?
When my homie Chucky got killed, yeah, that one, like, made me sick. Yeah, that one really made me sick. I already was like a different kid because, I mean, it might sound weird, but I really don't like rap a lot growing up. I listened to a lot of like speed metal, and we used to listen to a group called Slayer a lot. We both liked Slayer a lot, you know. Before I turned into a gang member, I used to skateboard and all that. I grew up with him, and we were supposed to hung out and hooked up and went and met some chicks. But I had to go to school, and my mom's like, you better go to school. If you don't go to school, you're going to go to jail. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I went to school, and I was supposed to meet him in the hood, and we were going to go do art thing. But when I went to school, I got caught up trying to flirt with these girls, you know? So by the time I realized, oh, man, I got to go catch up with the homie, when I'm going to the hood, the hood's chalked off, and the fools got him, killed him.
Who? What neighborhood?
18th Street.
May I ask where this beef initially started with 18th Street?
Well, there's a lot of things I really can't go into because you'll be giving up a little bit too much info about stuff, and I'm not trying to. But the majority of gang beefs start out of one or two things. All gang beefs: money and women. That's how most beefs start. That beef with us and them came in the 80s, and a lot of times you really don't even care about the beef. It's just about this is who they are. That's them, this is us. But the majority of gang beefs is over money or women.
Do you remember one of your fellow friends picking up a life sentence? And how did that impact you mentally?
Excuse me? Oh, I was shook. I was shook. I was really shook. I was shook. I felt like a shell. I've experienced some bad things in my life. You know, I've seen some bad things in my life growing up. I've seen women set on fire. I've seen people killed. I've had girlfriends cheat on me. You know, and when I lost him, it was like I kind of felt like it was my fault. You know, and yet it's like you had that void because that was my road dog. You know, it's like, you know, and it's just like you don't care anymore. So I was like, when I found out about it, I got drunk. I listened to some Slayer, and bad things happen.
Obviously, for someone to make a mistake that like you did, you must have been going through one hell of a emotional roller coaster, you know, mentally, emotionally. There must have been going a lot of things in your life that weren't going your way, perhaps. I'm not sure, but would you be able to enlighten us and let us know, man, in those last few months, exactly what was going on in your life leading up to that day? And what was it that happened, man? Please break it down to us, man, and let us know.
Well, I really don't want to talk a lot about this case here, but I started something that I just shook recently, I have to say, because it's always like, okay, I'll do it. And it's like, I'll do it. I'll do it. And it went from streets to jail, and that was my problem in jail. Whenever something had to happen, I'll do it. You know, I don't have nothing to live for. I mean, and it's like my family's trying to tell me the right thing, right? You're doing this, but when you're stuck into it, and you're like, man, I already got the hood tatted on me. This is what it is. These people don't understand that this shit's real, and I'm choosing this as my family. And you're watching movies, you know, Scarface, King of New York. You're following a certain frame of thought before you think you're a righteous gangster. You feel that you got to gun folks down. I remember I used to always idolize, since I was a kid, Lucky Luciano. I remember I read his book when I was a real young kid, and I always liked the way that he did stuff and how he always was a smart man, but he always took care of business. You know, he's the one of the founder of the five families, you know. But he always put in work. He always did stuff. He always was hands-on. And when you have drugs and alcohol and you're listening to certain kinds of music and you're watching certain kinds of shows, you're hanging around certain folks, it just snowballs. And on the day in question, I was like, you know, friends were all hanging around, because a lot of times you can't hang or party in the hood, because if you hang or party in the hood, you're going to get shot at or the cops are going to come raid. So we're actually somewhere far away kicking it with some girls, you know? And I'm like, you know, man, let's go shoot at these fools. So I get into the homies like, hey, man, let's go put in work, fool. You know what I'm saying? Let's go kill these fools. And I made a bad decision, man.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I went somewhere and I waited and I killed someone. Bad decision. Horrible. Did I see it then? No. Didn't even see it 10 years ago. No. For all this time, I blamed him. I said, well, it's not like I killed a church-going person. I didn't kill a civilian. I didn't kill a mom. I didn't kill a dad. He was a gang member. He knew what the he was in for. But it hit me briefly that he's still a person. I still shouldn't have did what I did. It doesn't matter. I was wrong. And you don't see another gang member as a gang member. You see them as just an enemy. You don't have any respect for. I remember we had something that some people got some time for, where they actually kidnapped some dudes, put them in a trash can, and set them on fire. You know, things were getting bad. I remember where dudes were like kidnapping dudes and torturing them and killing them just to put the point across. Just shooting somebody anymore wasn't getting the point across. Hello?
Who exactly was your victim? What was his name? How old was he?
I really don't. He was my age.
Was he from one of these rival gangs?
He was a gang member. That's why I always blamed him, you know? It's called victim blaming. He shouldn't have been a gang member.
May I ask what neighborhood?
You know? I really don't want to go into that. I have no problem answering questions as long as they're not direct.
Sorry, the only reason why I ask you so many personal questions is because you're already convicted of your case, so I feel like it couldn't possibly affect you in any type of way since you're already convicted of it. So that's why it
could.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yes.
But how did you get caught?
There's several ways how they said I got caught, but I think that while I'm thinking about it, it was like I was doing too much. I was doing way too much, and I was writing on walls and just putting stuff on walls and just doing way too much. I mean, the crash ended up coming to my house. They had stuff wrong. They even had the wrong gangs. They were just knew that I was doing this, and that. And they say it's because I got caught in a G-Ride, and they pointed me out on the lineup from a G-Ride because I got caught in a stolen car. And they said from that photo, they showed other folks who witnessed the crime. That's how they found out who I was.
And that's when you formally were noticed and notified that you were formally being charged with murder.
I was out one night, and I came home early, trying to sneak in, and the house was tore up. I'm like, what the hell? My dogs were running around, and crash had hit my house, tore my house up. So I'm like, Mom, I didn't do it. Of course I didn't do it, Mom. And your mom's gonna believe me. So I went down there and turned myself in, but I you can't lie to those people. They know. I thought then that I could, because when you're young you have that certain ignorant bravado. But yeah.
What was going on through your mind when you found out that you were being charged with this murder, and were you the only one charged?
I was the only one charged, and I was like, fuck it. They always tell us that, when you're a kid, you can kill somebody and get out, and murders are this, murders is that. So I'm like, well, damn, they don't have a gun, they don't have this, they don't have that. Maybe I can beat it, And I'm just like, well, fuck it, I'll go to jail. And because jail to a gang member is just another place, That's where you want to go, because that's where all the gang members are. You know what I'm saying? That's because all you hear is that this homie got out the pen, this homie got out the pen, this homie did this time. Even now, they talk about jail like it's a good place. I was reading something the other day where they were talking about I think the rapper's name is Tory Lanez, and they're talking about him like he's a hero. He's in jail. Someone.
Yeah, that guy. He's the one that shot that lady, right?
Yeah. But it ain't just that. But they talk about it like it's cool. This ain't
100%. 100%. It is everything but cool. Like I said, man, so many people have done that, have done the ultimate sacrifice, have picked up those guns, have picked up those crimes, and at the end of the day, it is all for nothing. It is literally pointless. And tell me, these same people who you beefed it with, these same people that you were at war with, you picked up this case against these gang rivals, you hit the county, and I'm sure you've seen some of them, and then you have to face your new reality of not being able to do anything to them, that you're now your comrades. You have to be at peace with them. If that's not hypocrisy at its most, then what the hell is?
That's insanity, and that's one thing that made me like what I'm in jail for killing your homie, you're in jail for killing my homie, but we have to worry about a bigger picture now. So we got to kick it and be together here, but as soon as we hit the streets, we're going to kill each other. Even here. Now there's certain dudes who I see here where it's like it's feel like it's a respecting, but bro, you stay on your side of the fence, I'm gonna stay on mine. But then it's like other folks are like, man.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
We're killing each other on the streets, but we come in here and all of a sudden now we're best friends. Eating together, riding together, doing this together. It's insane. It's just I don't know.
What would you tell somebody out there who's young, who's 13, 15, 14, 16 years old, and one of those who's barely starting their way inside the gang lifestyle, if they will only know and understand that those same people who they're targeting, those same Hispanic brothers who they want to kill, those are the same people who they're going to be in camaraderie with once they go to prison, once they go to jail. Those are going to be their brothers.
That's who they're going to. That's going to be the people who you're going to be with. Those are going to be the people who it might even get so ugly to where you might have to stab your own homeboy from your neighborhood with one of your enemies, which has happened a lot. You got to stab your own homeboy with an enemy because these people are telling you to do this, that, and whatnot. So now you got to stab him now, a dude who you grew up with, because he did something in jail that somebody who you don't even know or never even heard of is saying he's bad, or he did this, or he didn't pay $50 for a paper, or pay $100 for this, or do this, that, or whatnot. So now you got to stab him with somebody who you hate. the dudes who broke my jaw are beating me up in the back. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was talking about how I got jumped, and I didn't even know that I got jumped because I caught a concussion. I thought I was able to slip into the store and slip out and think that they saw me. When they come out, they jumped me, and I didn't know who it was for all these years until I heard someone talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, oh, bro, that was you," and we laughed about it over me being in a hospital for 3 days. Huh, weird, huh?
Yeah, man. You've become desensitized. You've become desensitized due to your environment, man, and it's unfortunate.
Well, I it's weird because there are a lot of smart people in prison. A lot of smart people, and I know me. I've read a lot of books because we used to go to the hole, and that's all we did was just read. And I want to say that with me first coming to jail, that's what helped me change into a better person now. Because when I first came to jail, I read a lot. I think I probably read 700 or 800 books. You know, I read everything from the Romanovs to V.I. Lenin to Che Guevara to everything. You know, Marcus Aurelius, all kinds of books. But I read them for different reasons. I read them because of their glamour and how to manipulate and how to be a better leader and how to just be a better gang member. Until it hits you, you can't be a better gang member. I used to read these mob books all the time. Until one day, like about 8 years ago, I was in the hole, and I read a book called The Westies about a gang in Hell's Kitchen, how they did stuff. They're like an Irish gang. I read that, and I read a book about Whitey Bulger because he got caught in West LA, and I was like, well, damn.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
There's either two ways out of this. You either die or you tell. That's it. And these are dudes who are doing it on a high level, and we're doing it on a street level. They're just thugs. They see us as pawns. You want me to call you back, sir?
Link.
Hello.
Hello, Anthony? Yeah, as I was saying, you know, for someone who is growing up now, who's getting stuck in that hole, you know, you have to understand that there's no way out except facing your fears and trying to become a better man. Because you don't want to die now. You don't want to be like me. And I've been down 31 years. No wife, no kids. My mom died. My dad died. Everyone who I know is either dead or they're doing something else. I'm going to end up hitting the streets pretty soon when I parole and being behind the 8 ball. You know? I really wish that I had someone. I really wish I could talk to kids and just so they could see my point of view about certain stuff. Oh, I know it feels good doing certain stuff. I know it feels good being around friends, being around the homies, drinking, beating folks up, doing this, doing that. But it gets worse, and it gets worse, and it gets worse. So I listen to certain things. I trip off. I look at the apps on the tablet. I read things that people do, and it's like, man, this is people think that jail is a joke. It's not. People die in here every day. Every single day. People get high off and kill themselves because it has too much. People hang themselves. People go crazy because their girlfriend is tired of them in jail, bugging them, so she goes with somebody else. People are coming here with 6 months and they die, or they catch life because they stabbed somebody and they die. It's not the kind of life, man. There's too many things out there in this world. I know this world isn't perfect. Things are happening bad all the time. But we don't always have to be a product of the negativity in our lives. You know?